Welcome to the Eurovision Kiki podcast. We're three Americans who have fallen in love with Eurovision. You've got Doug, Katie, and Steven here, and we're here to bring you the best information about the Eurovision Song Contest. We'll bring you the music, history, traditions, as well as all the tea currently surrounding the world of Eurovision. So buckle up and welcome to this week's episode.
And thank you for joining us for an amazing Kiki. We are here. We're back. Eurovision has happened. We are in the lull times.
But we're going to be prideful.
But we're here. We're queer. And it's going to be an amazing episode. Right?
Love it. Absolutely.
Because it's Pride Month. That's why it's going to be amazing.
It is Pride Month indeed. And so we are here to talk about some of the artists who have represented the queer community over the years. So let's just jump right in. And as the history guy, I think we really should start with kind of where it all began, kind of know where we came from. And so I think it might not shock folks, but Eurovision has been gay from the get-go.
No way.
I mean, who knew? The gayest song contest has been always gay.
And Turkey government might say we're not participating until LGBTQ people aren't represented, and it's like, well, that's not going to happen, Turkey. Right. Have you not seen gestures vaguely at all of Eurovision?
Right.
Oh.
You can't have this much pageantry without the queer community. No. You just can't.
Full stop, right? That's just how it is.
You just can't. It's not possible.
So let's just start from the beginning. I think it's important to note that the very first year, 1956, we had Danny Dauberson with Il est là. He's here, is what that translates to, who I would say was very ahead of her time. She was not out. We'll get to the first out artist, and it wasn't until the 90s, but you had queer representation from the get-go. From what I could find, back in 1956, she represented France at Eurovision, and that kind of her background is that she had moved to Paris after an affair with an actress became public.
Scandal.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in those days, absolutely.
Yeah.
Her song.
Reading kind of her Wikipedia, if anyone has read The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, it was like very much giving that. Their car accident, secret lesbian lovers, like it's in like the 50s. I mean, it really is Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo to me.
I look at her lyrics and I know she's talking about he's here. Mm-hmm. She talks in the lyrics about like he rules over his fellows, but what a wonderful power. He's there. He's there. I've tried everything to forget him. I've crossed the world. And so I know it's supposed to probably be about a man that she can't forget, but still loves. But when you read it through that different lens, it's almost like, I actually don't like this man at all. I don't like men. This kind of gives a different take on the song when you know maybe a little bit more about her.
I'm yearning for the women, a little bit of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, she says, "I can't change in my life. He's there," which almost is like I'm supposed to like men. Society says I have to like men, but I don't.
Yeah,
totally.
So I just huge shout out to her and being that first representation. And again, back in those days, they were not out, and they certainly weren't out when they participated at Eurovision.
Mm-hmm.
And so the next one I want us to point out to, and I don't want to like discount the number of folks who represented for the community over the years, and we are only mentioning just a few of them. That doesn't mean that's all of them. I encourage anybody who's a fan to take some time even if it's just Wikipedia, take a look.
Yeah,
It's in a book on Reading Rainbow. I don't know.
It's worth noting the list is lengthy,
It's long.
and
Yeah.
that fills my heart with joy because it just goes to show that representation is visible, and it is not something that's not never been there. So
That's
I love it.
exactly what I was going to say is like it is like looking at just the Wikipedia list of LGBTQ participants in Eurovision just is like we've always been here. you know, like it's always been around. So like it's nothing new. Very ever since the beginning, like we were just saying. They've been an integral part of this.
And so we are going to, after 1956, we're going to jump forward a little bit to 1961. And that is the very first LGBTQ plus winner, Jean-Claude Pascal from Luxembourg, with, and I'll probably butcher it, Nous les Amours, which is We the Lovers. The song itself is very veiled. It never references a specific gender.
I was about to say who.
I think it's pretty thinly veiled, knowing and looking back and being able to know. But I also feel like at the time you could read a lot of different things into it. And when
Right.
the assumption was like so purely people are straight, then maybe it's like less obvious. But now looking back and knowing what we know now about him and about the world, it's pretty obvious.
Right. I mean, he says, we the lovers, they want to separate us. They would like to prevent us from being happy. We the lovers, we can do nothing against them. They're 1,000 and we are two, the lovers.
The lore.
I mean,
the lore.
I feel like we should bring this song back as like a resistance anthem for like you can't roll this back. You're trying to keep us apart. This is not going to happen. Like I feel like we'd like let's bring this back into the zeitgeist.
I mean, we the lovers, the sun shines for us, and we sleep on the knees of the good Lord. We the lovers, he gave us the right to be happy and to be joyful together. Like, it's
like I said,
it's a little heart wrenching
very,
when you know what it's really about.
right?
Yeah.
And looking back, it's pretty obvious, but you can think that it's just some sort of star-crossed Romeo and Juliet kind of story, but
Right.
looking back, it's saying a lot more than that, and it's not just about two people; it's about millions of two peoples.
Absolutely, and that's where I think that this song was able to do well because it didn't identify a gender, and so it resonated with literally everybody because everyone, I don't care what your preferences are, your affiliations, whatever, everybody has that other person.
Right. Everybody's got a story of unrequited or, forbidden love. And that's always going to be a trope that people love.
Yep. And so that was our first LGBT winner in 1961. He actually went on to represent Luxembourg again 20 years later in 1981, where he placed 11th out of 20. So he didn't fall off the face of the planet after he won. He was, he came back and he represented them again. As with the other artists, in this time, he was never publicly out. But it's, you don't have to be publicly out to still, enjoy a life.
Totally.
So we are going to then fast forward to 1997, and that is going to be the first out at the time of Eurovision, first out participant, Paul Oscar from Iceland in 1997, with his song, which translates to My Last Dance.
And 1997 also had a lesbian winner, but I don't think that
they
she
were
was out.
not
Not out at the time. Yeah.
Not out at the time.
Yeah. So
So
you were
1997, big year.
big,
Ginormous
well,
year.
and I think like, it's kind of like you see those charts about, oh, why is suddenly everybody gay, or why is suddenly everybody trans? It's like, no, they've always been
Always been
there.
there. Yep.
You just didn't let them tell
It's
you that they were there.
the best analog is the left-handedness and
Lefty,
how
lefty.
like yeah, and how all like in like the 70s and 80s there was a massive rise in people who were left-handed, but really it was just we weren't forcing people to be right-handed because we no longer believed that it was a sign of demonic possession or whatever.
I mean,
And
depending on who you talk to, they might still
yeah,
say
well,
that about
probably.
me. As a lefty, they
Well,
probably still say
I
that.
don't know that that has to do with you being left-handed though. So,
Touche.
but it's the same thing of just like there were always these
Yes.
people with the natural born ways that people are. And as soon as we take off the restrictions from them having to pretend to be something different, it looks like all of a sudden there's this massive rise, but it's always been there.
Yeah.
Right.
And then it'll level out because that's what left-handedness did. Once like people weren't forcibly trained out of being left-handed, it's a pretty steady percentage of the population now.
Right. And that's where I think that, maybe we can look at 1997 for Eurovision and say that's kind of the year. All right, we've got an out contestant, we've got a winner who is part of the community, and it's just going to take off from there.
Mm-hmm.
And have we leveled out? Who's to say? But 1997, I think, is kind of where we could pinpoint for Eurovision that this is groundbreaking. And I will say again, your song doesn't always have to relate to your identity, but
No.
in this case, his song, My Final Dance, it translates to a section where he says, if I love today, it will be in the papers tomorrow. I take a bubble bath and drown my sorrows. So it's like, I don't know if that's what you intended, but when I see that lyric, okay, you're an out contestant,
Mm-hmm.
and you're acknowledging like this is kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So with that, I think we are ready to sort of, time travel into the more recent years, where I think, as we kind of alluded to, you see a lot more representation in the recent years.
Yeah, we are fast forwarding real quick.
So we're going from 1997, 30 years forward, pretty much. So let's get into some of the more recent artists that we identify with, or that we feel strongly about, that we just want to give some shout outs. Who wants to get us going?
Yeah, no, I'm ready to go. Just it's fresh. I was there. I loved a large handful of LGBTQ plus representation that came from 2025 this year. Huge shout out to our boy Marco from Croatia,
Mm-hmm.
who has had to deal with a large amount of repercussion and backlash from Croatia for coming out as gay. When it's still, there's a lot of stigma in that country in particular for coming out or for being gay, but for him to just continue to live his truth. He talked about that during his meet and greet a little bit, and what's interesting is that he connects his song Poison Cake to toxic relationships as like a whole, and it's not necessarily who is he dishing poison cake to like beat out in competition or anything like that. Mm-hmm. But it's about, dishing out poison to the toxic relationships and lived experiences that he has had in his past. So I really appreciate his vulnerability, but also the strength that he has had pre and post Eurovision to continue to live that truth and provide a lot of folks with an outlet and the ability to be like, hey, I come from a similar country where LGBTQ plus identity is still a huge stigma and still very much lesser than those of straight privilege or straight identity. So, Marco, you're seen here at the Kiki We love you.
And we're ready for
Millennial.
you to come
Wait,
kiki
no.
with us.
Yes, absolutely.
Very
Yeah, and
awkward Gen Z heart.
we can just do the regular one.
Millennial heart. Right there.
um, I think he also, that kind of, I think something that's interesting about Eurovision is even in some pretty repressive countries like Croatia, like a lot of the like Balkans and some places where it's not necessarily accepted, you will still see queer LGBTQ plus
Mhm.
performers coming from there. So um, I think it's really cool, especially for people who come from these places, that it's not acceptable or
Right.
like fully accepted to still be who they are. And I think that that's just, good on them. And
Yep.
you've at very least got supporters right here.
Yeah.
Right. Well,
And
that's the
Mary.
thing is like, you know that they might have some struggles within their own country, but it's
Mhm.
just like there are so many people around the world who are rooting you on.
Mhm.
I need you to keep doing what you're doing.
And
Yep.
you also don't know who within that country needs to see what you're doing. What
Yep.
little Croatian boy needs to see a Croatian representative be gay and be out.
Yep. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
And I think we saw some of that even last year
Mm-hmm.
with Luna from Poland, and when she went to support the Poland Pride, she
Mm-hmm.
got a lot of backlash, and
Yeah.
she was pretty open on her social media about her struggle with that, and just all of the hate that was coming her way.
Hmm.
So this is not new. These struggles are ongoing,
Mm-hmm.
It's a
and
worldwide struggle. And it's not going to go away anytime soon,
Mm-mm.
unfortunately.
right.
But that's not why we're here to talk about the sad. We're here to be prideful.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Yeah. Like, as much as, we could go on a diatribe about
Right.
how it's getting worse in a lot of places. We're here to talk about the good stuff and
Yeah.
celebrate people and celebrate our pride.
Yeah. Like
Absolutely.
Mariana Conte from Malta, who is part
Yes.
of the queer community and
Girl. Girl.
has her girlfriend Jade out there.
Yes.
Yes.
Love that for her. And it's so great because, you know, it's just who she loves. And what's great is that she was out before that, and it's just part of who she is, as she has also explained in many interviews. And it wasn't really anything that she had to discuss publicly until she won Eurovision. So to her,
Yeah.
it's just like, it's just who I love, and it's not a big deal to me. But if people want to know who I love, this is my girlfriend Jade, and I love
Yeah.
her, and she's great, and we do things as couples normally do. So if you have a problem with it, tough titty.
And
Um,
that's one thing that I like really love about, living when we do is there's so much that it's just like, well, why would I have to make this a big deal?
yeah,
Where like so much work has gone in to get to the point where you don't necessarily feel like you have to do all this stuff. But it also kind of reminds me, our queen Alessandra, when she posted that video a couple years ago of her coming out to her dad.
yep,
And
Yeah.
I mean, and he was so supportive. It was so beautiful.
yep.
And I just, yeah, she, after the contest was just like, yeah, I'm going to come out with a song about how I like women too. you know?
And Dad was
And
just like,
we
"All right,
Sweet. Is it a good song at least? And I think,
like,
feel like that's like,
yeah,
yeah, if you're going to
well,
do it good.
and I think that kind of highlights like everybody's different, and everybody
Totally.
is going to go through their story in their own way. And so whether you just are like nonchalant,
Hmm.
or you want to make a big to do,
Hmm.
there's no wrong way to do it.
there's
Yeah.
not, no,
And again, and like Eurovision being kind of a microcosm of the world, like there's a ton of different queer experiences. So I feel like it can be super validating for, whoever is struggling with how they want to handle their sexuality or whatever. They've got a million examples of a billion different ways to do it. So
yep,
I think
Right.
that it's really cool.
And I
that's
think people are feeling seen. I mean, we've
Hmm.
got Nemo, and Bambi Thug from 2024, non-binary participants. So it's just so great to see.
You know what's also great to see? Eurovision bringing couples together, like Aiko and one of the bandmates from San Marino in 2024.
Yeah, I believe her name is
think that's
Kat.
so cool.
Yes.
That is so cool.
Not even, like, didn't see that on the bingo card, but, you know, that story was beautiful to see on Aiko's social media recently, where she wasn't even looking for love.
You don't need to advance to the finals.
Right.
Yeah, it wasn't even her own band.
No. Yeah. So that was great too.
I just think that for me is one of the feel good stories of 2024.
Oh, yeah.
Just, you know, with everything else that was happening and the drama of how 2024, just like coming out of that and knowing like you might not have advanced to the finals, but that's not what winning is all about.
No, not at all. So, another more recent one from the past couple of years that I love too, and part of, I guess you could say, like the millennial generation, if you will, but gotta give some love to our Belgium family member Gustav, but also because, like, Pride Anthem, if there ever is a Pride Anthem, love him, and just love that he built his Eurovision, like, empire, if you will, to be just that, like, because of you, I can be who I want to be. I can be prideful. I can be a man in his 40s that still waves the pride flag, can still, like, drop it, the boots house down mama.
Yeah.
Insert tongue pop.
Like, that song's on a lot of playlists for me. Like, not even just Eurovision faves, not just like from that year. Like, I love that song. And, you know, bringing out the dancer doing kind of the like ballroom performance. Like, I was like, yes, give us Vogue. Like, I love it.
Did I see Gustav in Basel, like, randomly on a street? And was I too nervous to go and say hi to him?
You should have said hi.
No, it was like he was okay. So story time. He was.
Tell us more.
He was, and Roger can back me up on this story. So we were walking past like a bakery that had really good pastries, by the way. And I look in the window and there's Gustav with his entourage, and I'm like, oh my God. And it's just him and his people in there. And I'm like, I want to go in and just say hi, but I also don't want to be that person that's like, hi. And then he's like, well, like, wait until he comes out. I'm like, no, let's just let him be. Like, he just looks like he wants to, like, kind of have a day to himself. And I have many regrets about it. But
I'm of two minds here, because one, if you're a former Eurovision contestant going to where Eurovision is,
you have to know.
Want to have people say hi to you, right? I mean,
he wants to be recognized.
He didn't have to go to Basel that week.
He didn't, but no, he did, because he was also performing at Euro Club that night.
Well, but you know, so he said, "I want to be there."
He wants the spotlight. Give him spotlight.
Give him his moment, Stephen.
Gustav, I hope you know that I saw you in a window, and I wanted to come and say hi to you, but I also just wanted to respect that you were probably out and about with your friends and wanted to have some downtime. So I wasn't that person, but I kind of wanted. I really wanted to be that person.
Okay, so Gustav, if you're listening ever, or if this ever comes across your algorithm, if you were in a pastry shop in Basel
and saw a weird guy just like staring through a window, that was me.
That was Stephen.
That was me. Sorry.
I love that. Yeah, because he probably, he's there. You have to accept that you're gonna there are people who are going, if any place is gonna notice him, it's Eurovision, right?
Yeah, I wanted to hug you and be like, because of you, pun intended. I still feel great to be a 40-year-old man and be who I am. So thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, well, that was a feel-good moment, and I loved it.
So there's that. Who
How do
else?
how do I follow that? Like,
I don't know.
that's
Like, let's put the spotlight on some of our allies because Katie's an ally. And that's also great to put the spotlight on is that, we have people that are there to back us up and make sure that we can continue to shine.
Mm-hmm.
absolutely the first one that I want to give a shout out to is Hera Bjork,
Mm-hmm.
who
Yes.
we know is an amazing ally. She's been on the
Yes.
Kiki.
Yeah.
Friend of the podcast.
I mean, when
Love her so
she
much.
came and to talk to us, the first thing she knew what Kiki was. There's a Kiki queer bar in Iceland that she
Yeah.
referenced,
She's
which
got
we
a VIP
love.
table.
Yeah, she really, she's like, oh, I go all the time. Like they know that I've got this table at the Kiki.
So she already, she's already known about
Mm-hmm.
queer culture. She this year at Iceland's song national finals, she participated and sang her amazing songs and gave us some drag queens on stage. She also did a song "Love Tonight" for 2011's Gay Pride. So she's an ally through and through.
Yep.
She is.
Also go back to that episode because she told us a fantastic story about how she came to, I think it was Los Angeles, to do some type of pride event
Yeah.
way back in the day, and was just having the time of her life. So like bring it back,
Yep.
but maybe not right now, but like bring it back. So love that for her. I mean, it goes without saying she is mother of 2025, and that is our girl Sissal, aka Sea
My
Salt,
queen.
our
Sea
queen,
Salt.
Sea Salt.
The
She
girl.
recently said on her Instagram that she would like her fan base to be known as sissies.
Okay, I'm here for
Yes. Okay.
We're
I
here.
was thinking more like saltines, like sea salt,
I like
Oh.
sissies. I like sissies.
I
And
I can get behind it. I'll get
I can
behind
get
it.
behind either, actually. But
Yeah,
I
I
think
mean, I'm fine if we want to be a bunch of sissies. I'm on
Let's do
board.
it.
if she did like a cover of Sissy That Walk by RuPaul, I would die. For the sissies. Do it for the sissies.
Sissal,
girl.
you heard it here first.
Do it for the
This is what we
sissies.
need.
do it for the sissies. And if you don't know that song, then we'll help you. We'll help
Yeah.
you figure it out.
Oh yeah.
I would also. She is a hardcore ally. She was
Mhm.
mother of 2025 because she took everybody in. She takes
Like
everybody
genuinely mother.
in. Genuinely mother. Like
Yes.
here's your welcome basket and all of the things. Come to her
Yeah.
if you need anything.
Like, hey, honey, you need an Advil? I definitely have some right here.
Yeah, for the real. But also you could legit go to her socials and
Mhm.
like she will talk you through just about anything. In that, I mean, it also includes like the birds and the bees, and anything else, including like, the peggings and the things like that. No, probably not. But I am curious if she was ever able, if her and JJ and Kyle were ever actually able to help Gojo understand what a twink is, because like to this day, I still think Gojo has questions. So
I think so too.
yeah,
Oh no.
because there is
Oh my
definitely
God.
that video out there of them trying to explain it, but
There was some queer education that was
There
taking
was-
place
there
at
was-
Eurovision.
there was, and she's there for it. She will help you. She will be your spirit and your guide for everything. And I love
Yeah.
her allyship because of that. Like, she is right.
Mhm.
Gay men love her, and we're here to prove that point 100%.
Is she a pop diva? I need more songs from her. So yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yes.
She's
Mhm.
resting. She'll be
I
she
know.
she's on holiday, and it is well deserved.
Yeah.
So
But I'm definitely
suppose.
excited for whatever single comes post Eurovision next.
But I mean, in the meantime, while we're waiting, we are going to be blasting her song on repeat all day, the weekend of the 21st
Of June.
for Hallucination Day.
Yes. It has to
we
happen.
are the Hallucination.
We are.
See what they did. See what they did there.
Yes. So for those who are
We live
not
in
aware,
hallucination, you know.
if you are not aware, June 21st is Hallucination Day, similar to last year when we all rallied for Kayleen and We Will Rave Day. We are doing the same for our girl Sissal, for Mother, if you will. So if you do not have the Spotify or the Apple playlist with her song Hallucination, make it happen. So
or get on YouTube. We just need to get her streams. Like,
we're gonna get her
however
those
you're
Get
gonna
those
get
streams
her
going.
some streams. Because I think we're all seeking some justification for her to points.
Yeah.
And when they said 2 people voted, it's really 2 million. It's really what we want to see.
I will say that video of like her talking about how her child was like, "Oh, did the only people who voted for you mom and dad? Like, what do you?" No one can cut you like a child.
But she rolls with it. That's the best
I know,
part.
it's
It's
so
like
funny.
her stories where she's hanging out with my 2 voters.
Yeah.
It's great. It's gold.
Well, and there's the
the clip of her finding out it's the 2 points. That's gonna go like, I feel like we need to have a ranking of like best points reveal like reactions, because it's gonna be like it's gonna be France 2023. It's gonna be Sissal. It's gonna be, because it's gonna be like, we've had some very, for better or for worse, for happy, for shocked, for angry,
for all.
but we've had some very good reaction videos.
She's just a very good sport about it. I mean, Steven, you had the opportunity to ask her a question during her meet and greet in Basel.
I mean, she leans into like, and I quote, "You have to just take a piss out of yourself."
I love when she says that too, because it's like very European. Like, we don't, take a piss on myself.
And she even like mentions like Trisha Paytas. Like, it's like, she's like, I know that comparison's out there, and honestly, she can laugh at herself better than just about anybody else. So great company.
Yeah. So love her allyship.
Yes.
Love many of the Eurovision artists that are there for that cause and for the allyship, because it helps make the Eurovision Song Contest environment that much more welcoming, that much more enjoyable, and it makes future years to come more and more inclusive. Yes, not every environment is going to be welcoming or friendly, and there's still always opportunities for ESC to grow and learn. Nothing's perfect, but
I feel as though Eurovision has really created this safe space. I mean, for us and just our enjoyment of it, the people that we've met, especially in the past years we started this podcast. So shout out to everybody who we've ever DM'd, just because Eurovision is an opportunity for us to just forget everything else that's happening in the world and united by music.
Yeah, it's such a good form of escapism for, I think, us and so many people, just to be able to like dive into a song that you love and watch a campy performance of it.
For real.
What could be better?
And then wonder what half of that camp is all about, because you just don't get it. Yep. But that's fine.
Because we just don't understand European music.
And we may never, and that's okay.
And that's okay. This is who we are.
It is. We'll be those people next year that are not understanding the music around us, and it'll be like on our forehead that says so, but we're there voting.
Yep.
And we are going to be around all summer. We, I think, are going to be on a bit of an abbreviated schedule every other week.
A little bit of a slowdown.
I think we want to encourage our listeners to go out there and enjoy their summers. We are also going to be doing the same. And then we are still going to have some episodes this summer, and then of course we will dive right back into it. And once September kicks in, we are ready to roll, and it's going to be national finals season before you know it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Still a lot of information that will be coming out throughout the summer, including host city announcements, including information about Junior Eurovision, which we probably won't cover, maybe have a couple of pieces of information about it here and there. But as many folks know, we focus solely on Eurovision here.
And we'll start getting like confirmation of which countries are participating and which are not. So that'll start rolling out. Yeah, we've got some exciting, I think, episode topics coming up.
Cool.
That's
Give them a little taste.
That's so influencer of you.
I mean,
Everybody's been asking.
I'm happy to talk about them because I'm very excited about them. But yeah, so we're going to keep it fresh, just a little less often this summer.
Yes. So with that, we hope everybody enjoys this Pride Month and are doing everything that they can to be prideful. We can't get through this entire list of folks of family from the Eurovision Song Contest, but we would love to know who you love that's part of the LGBTQ plus community that has represented the Eurovision Song Contest family. Let us know in the comments below if you're watching on YouTube or listening on Spotify. And I think that'll do it for today's episode. Thank you all so much for joining us. And as mentioned, we'll be back in a couple of weeks. Be sure to like this episode. And if you are listening on one of our platforms, consider hitting that subscribe button or get those notifications going, or following us. Catch us on Spotify or YouTube, and then maybe consider following us on the socials. We're on Instagram and TikTok at Eurovision Kiki. You can leave us questions on any of those platforms. You can also drop us a note at eurovisionkiki@gmail.com. But I think that'll do it for now. For Doug, Katie, and myself, I think we will say have a good Pride, and we'll see you all at our next Kiki.
Be safe. We love you.
Yes, stay safe, everybody.